Hello, hello, hello. Oh look, I'm sort of, I don't know how this is a boring view. I know, I must apologise. You get the same old view all the time because it's on that arm, but I don't really do anything with it. And it's all a mess because I've been doing not this, I've been doing something else, which was fitting the neck on something. My T5, the beautiful T5, which is there. That thing, look at that, with a 3 M8 bolt fixing arrangement. So that's a Northwest Guitars Tele neck. Now what I'm doing here, apart from just tidying up a minute, is I've got a local bargain guitar today that has been on sale. I saw it on sale down here a couple of weeks ago and nobody bought it, and I saw it come up again. Well, I saw it appear again and I thought, wow, it's still there, nobody wants it. But I asked the chap if he would accept a little bit less for it, or was it still available and would he accept 10 or less. So for 30 Earth pounds I got me this Tenson Telecaster. Well, horrible, yes, but okay, so what we got? We have got a strangely thick Telecaster. Now, we've also got a Telecaster which, on the surface of it, doesn't look too bad. It actually is purporting to be a two-piece of wood, and I don't know whether this is some sort of photo. Yeah, it's probably a photo grain or something, but it could just be the real wood, who knows. It's a solid thing. I expected plywood, but it seems to be wood. It looks full thickness, close to 42 millimeters, possibly 44. An okay looking neck, not such a groovy headstock, but you know, some fairly decent looking tuners actually. Nothing wrong with them. Neck not too bad. A okay bridge, a Telecaster pickup combo that works, some ferrules, neck plate, strap buttons, fairly big size strap buttons actually, extended ones, and a pickguard that isn't broken anyway. So actually for 30 notes that's not bad, because the reason I wanted this thing was for potential marriage to this thing, which has been sort of sitting out here for a while now. Oh, with a little wedge of, perfect wedge of wood, wedgewood. So this thing's been sitting out here waiting, and I had a neck, if you remember it was a Warmoth neck, but this is complete with bridge and everything already positioned, so I had to get another Tele neck. Now the point about this was the Warmoth neck I had died, so it was not worth, well, it had to go in the burner actually, so that went in the burner. Oof, this is awful. But that's only a small detail. Anyway, yeah, the Warmoth neck went in the burner, leaving this potential headless body, which I'd put a fair bit of work into. It's a nice heavy headless guitar, and it's carved, and anyway, it's just sitting around, and I thought, well, it'd be nice to finish this, which obviously then needed a neck. So I haven't come across one just yet until I saw this. Now the point about this is, I'm going to pick this apart fairly quickly, because I'm going to first of all check the neck and see if it fits the headless. Now if it does, then I will keep the body and the various bits for use later on. May even consider buying another neck for it in future. You know, so I guess the way I was looking at this is, I would much rather than buy a Telecaster neck and chop the headstock off for a headless guitar, I'd much rather buy this kind of thing with a not very nice headstock anyway, that would, you know, because of the shape of the headstock, it would have a sort of negative second-hand resale impact. But if I can convert this into a headless guitar and then use the body again with a more saleable or a more attractive Telecaster shaped headstock, and then we can make a decent Tele out of it. Because actually there's nothing on here, from first impressions, there's nothing on this guitar that doesn't work. It's actually surprisingly good for what it is. Somebody on a Facebook page said it's a common brand in their part of the world, and I've seen a couple on eBay, but I've never seen one in the flesh, so that's partly why I was interested in getting this. Mainly for the neck, but because it had the added bonus of being a kind of brand I hadn't seen before, so that alone kind of makes it an interesting proposition. Now all the little ferrules are popping right out the back now, which isn't such a bad thing, but we'll then have to stick them back in once they fall out. And what I'll do is instead of sticking them back in, I will push them or tie them back on with some tape. It's a shame these aren't black, because I could have used them. I've ordered some black ones anyway. But that T5 over there has got string through, so I could have used these. But I could have used these. But I'm going, I think, mostly black fittings on. What am I doing? No, I'm going gold. Oh, and I've ordered black. I've got some gold and black. Gold and black. Yeah, a mixture of gold and black. Oh well, I think I had an idea. There was something going on in my head when I did it. I've now lost track of what it was. So we'll take all this apart. I'm going to make a box with all the bits in. And it is worth taking everything to pieces, because what I'd want to do is perhaps fix up the body, the finish a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll take that off and I'll get me a spare box. Now obviously any box won't be big enough to take all the components, but it'll take some of them. So we have a first look under here. Okay, it's wood, probably basswood, some such. It's got a hole for hanging from there, which is quite convenient. So I guess the first thing I want to do while you're here, I'm on camera here, is let's see if this comes anywhere close to being a fit. Ooh, well, do you know, it probably would. A little bit of sanding here and there. These are my 3 chunky screws which are in the way for the minute. Get a sense of how far off the mark this is. The important thing is it has to fit, but it also has to kind of line up properly. So it's critical it runs centre line. It's not too bad actually. So that is workable. It's a shame in a way, because I kind of would have liked to have made that into a Tele straight off, but I will still do it, only it will be a different kind of Tele. Now I have a couple of important things to stick together before I lose them. There we are. Let's put these back in here. Yeah, well, I mean, the other thing is with one of these, well, let's take it apart and see, but with one of these it's also a possibility to make it into a headless Tele as well, which is another option to get rid of that horrible headstock. So currently at the moment I'm looking at using that body down there along with the Chinese headless bridge unit, and I don't necessarily have to use it on that thing, on that particular guitar. I could basically turn this into a headless guitar. It would mean changing that bridge, but that actually isn't a problem. And what it means is that the operation, what I would do to the neck would be the same in both cases. The only difference is right now this neck would fit that pocket better, or straight away without any work. So I could start by refinishing this neck into a headless neck with the headpiece on it. So we've got to do a bit of cutting at the end here and fitting the headpiece, chiseling and careful work, which is fine. And then we could have a look under here and just see how well that bridge would work on instead of that particular bridge. Now the problem we got at the moment is that, well, not a problem, is that the pickup is suspended from the plate, which if we did a headless arrangement it would be body mounted, but again that's not a problem at all. So decent quality little tuners, made in China. Well, I'm not surprised, but actually nice little micro button tuners and very smooth operators. Have a kind of nice weathered look too. They have a relic look without being crappy like the ones on the Thomas Blug V6, which although I liked the guitar immensely, I didn't like what the relicking process did to the tuners. And of course using a headless arrangement would give us a spare set of tuners as a bonus. Okay, so the fun part comes when it's time to refinish this. Now if this is going to be a headless guitar, I would probably want to refret, there's a little bit of wear, I'd probably want to refret this, and then it gives me a chance to reshape the heel depending on which guitar it's going to go on. But as it stands right now, that's not a bad, it's not altogether a bad neck. I don't think it's got any major problems. Of course we have to test for such things as, does it respond to the truss rod? Let's feel what happens. Can you get the truss rod in? Can you get it out? It's often the biggest issue. Well, it's sort of working. Sometimes it can be royal pain to get truss rods in and out. The angle doesn't ever seem to be quite right. Certainly it resists a long straight handle like this. It likes the angle. Okay, that's sort of flat, barely bowed. Let's see if we can do it up with this one. It's quicker, but it may not be possible. It won't even, no, we can't even really get in from that angle. So we have to go the slow way. We just want to test and see if it works in the opposite direction. If we can actually get it in, there we are. Of course this would be easier without the headstock at all, which may be what we'll achieve if we turn it into a headless guitar. And that's back bowed, so that's working. So this is the ideal sort of neck now for upcycling. You know, we've got the basics. It's got rosewood, it's got maple. It's actually quite a pretty grain. If we refinish this surface, it would come up looking really nice. And actually, I think it would complement that headless guitar quite well. I'm not entirely sure about the body on that. I think it would be a keeper, but again, 30 quid for a recyclable neck and a whole bunch of Telecaster parts that aren't of bad quality at all. So let's get a few other bits off here. Let's get the strap locks off. Okay. I keep losing all these because I keep forgetting to get the tape and do what I... No, I'm going to take them all out. That's what I'm going to do. I can get round to it. Come on, come on. Of course, it isn't doing what I wanted. I was putting up a fight. Yeah, this it's well equipped for a budget guitar. guitar, I have to say. Sounded okay when I ran it through the amp very briefly, but it wasn't an exhaustive test. Okay, let's try and get this out. Now why isn't that coming out? Okay, yeah, reasonable, nice big sized thingies, strap buttons. That one looks like it's worn out completely. Let's try a different thing. I'll measure this and see how thick it is. But okay, this is already rattling around anyway, so we shall just take that out. It's even got sort of grippy steel knobs, which is quite unusual for a standard Tele. No, for an average budgety Tele. One more. Now the neck pickup here is body mounted, so yep. Okay, that's nice and creamy coloured after many years. I don't suppose it's, I mean, I'm not expecting any particular quality, but as I said, it played, so it worked, which is pretty good. And we have a sort of budgety affair here. Oh, there's a loose thing dangling around here, not doing anything. I'm not sure what that's for, but anyway. Fayun Patents of China. Patent. I haven't even seen one looking like that before. It's quite an interesting little unit. Let me see if I can show you in a minute. Let us first undo this. And it doesn't really want to come out. Nor that one particularly. It's not bad looking body actually. I've seen a lot worse. So like I say, the kind of benefit of redoing this as a separate project on its own is that I'll sort of transform the non-Telecaster neck into a replacement, which will be a Telecaster shaped one, or at least maybe something I can cut into a Telecaster shape. So it gives me a few options, but this body actually is not bad. Bridge screws. Bit cheating, but this is set up for both a through body or a top loader, so it's quite handy. Now there'll be a wire going through, plus okay, there isn't a bridge ground on here separate from anything else. That's interesting. Okay, so I'm going to snip there, and I'm going to snip there just to make things quicker and easier. There we have it. That's got no paper on it, or the paper's worn through. It's actually it's almost, you can almost see the wire, so have to be careful with that. The little it's not the best view. The little Fayun patents. It's a very solid little metal switch. I haven't seen anything like that before. And you see it's a metal housing, you know, a different kind of housing, but it is a bit more robust than regular things, and you can of course see those nice knobs. I don't know, put you down on there, I'll get a low down view. And what I'll do now is I'll take off the neck pickup. Finally, if I can see anything down here. No, I can't. Let's get a smaller. this is not playing ball. Okay, what have we got that's going to work? That's not right, that's not going to work. That could, but it's, yeah, just. Some of these will need replacing, judging by this. And yeah, that's interesting. It's all wood, real wood. Well, out you come. And that's sitting on a rubber block, so I guess people find that easier to do than putting it on springs. I guess they're right. Nothing particularly surprising about that. Standard ceramic key type pickup. Okay, so there we have it. A very light, very light body indeed. Would suit being headless because you could do without the extra weight of the headstock. Got some sticker on there which I can remove at some point. But yeah, actually all in all, God, this weighs almost nothing. All in all, that's not a bad little body. No major, that will clean up really nicely, and there's a few little scuffs, but actually there's a bit of a finish imperfection on the side here. But it's not the end of the world. What happened there? You know, it'll be fun for another project down the line. Okay, so there we have it. God, that is amazing. That is that Chinese light hardwood, whatever they call it. Somebody call it, it's not Wu-Tang, it's something like that. Wu-Tan? I always think of the Wu-Tang clan. It's a Wu-Tan or something like that, and it's just incredibly light. But it is a pretty robust hardwood for its lightness, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It'll work. I mean, they haven't even gone for a fancy route here, so that does slightly compromise the plan or the idea of making a headless one, and just, you know, having a body mounted, having the bridge pickup body mounted, because you could do it in there, but you'd have this great big gap and it would look a bit odd. Now the alternative would be to refill it, but so who knows. I think probably the best idea is this will be a project for down the line, and we'll carry on getting this ready for headless usage. So usual thing, hang you up. I mean, it's almost light enough to fly on its own. And then really just get kind of stuck in too. Oh, nice. Get stuck into the neck. I'll put the other bits away. What I'll do off camera is I'll put those in some little baggies to try and protect the pickups a little bit along the way, and give this a name, which is, let's just put it on some tape. We'll call this Tenson Tele. Reason for naming it is I always think I'll remember it, and then it gets sort of hung up here with all the other leftover bits and pieces, and before you know it, you're thinking which one. And it's important mainly because of lining up the screw holes. If you've already got screw holes in there, there's no point reinventing the wheel and trying to make some more line up. Okay, so what there's a bit of scuffing on here, but it's nothing serious. So we've got a pretty good shape that will work. We'll need to fill these. So my first thing will be to fill these holes in, to tailor this to fit the what am I doing? Tailor this to, you know, just sand it down or sand the pocket down to get these two mated up properly, Once I've done that, then I will cut off the end around about here, and I'll set about matching up the headless end piece, which is quite a big chunky unit is in the box there. But I'll get rid of most of that, and then I'll defret this and sand the fingerboard. It's actually a very flat profile. It's probably something like a 20. So it's going to take, you know, it'll be a sort of shredder's dream, but we can round off the fingerboard a little bit. But we've got loads of really nice jumbo frets for it. I think it will take them nicely. Okay, there you go. That was the 30 quid Tenson Telecaster, which will be reborn someday in the Telecaster mode. Although it isn't perfect, I have to say. There's a big blemish. It might have been sold as a second or something. It's been kind of clanged and dented slightly there. So it might take a bit of work to sort of tidy that up. But for a fun guitar, I'm sure that won't be a problem. Alright.